Welcome back everyone. Today we are uncorking the financial results of United Spirits Limited, a major player in India's beverage alcohol market.
That's right. United Spirits, a subsidiary of the global giant Diageo plc, boasts an impressive portfolio. We're talking brands like Johnnie Walker, McDowell's Number 1, Smirnoff, Black Dog and many others. They also own Royal Challengers Sports Private Limited, which operates the RCB cricket franchise, so they have a finger in the sports pie too.
Interesting mix. So they've released their audited financial results for the quarter and the full financial year ended March 31st, 2025. The board of directors approved these on May 20th, 2025. We'll be looking at both the consolidated and standalone figures. Where should we start?
Let's dive straight into the key financials, starting with the consolidated numbers for the fourth quarter of FY25, that's Q4 FY25. Their revenue from operations for Q4 FY25 stood at 6,634 crore rupees.
How does that compare year over year, say against Q4 FY24?
Year over year against Q4 FY24 6,511 crore rupees, that's a slight increase of about 1.89%.
Okay, a modest rise. And what about quarter over quarter compared to Q3 FY25?
Quarter over quarter, compared to Q3 FY25 7,732 crore rupees, it's actually down by about 14.20%. So sequential dip in revenue for the quarter.
Understood. Now what about their earnings? Let's look at EBITDA for Q4 FY25 on a consolidated basis. The press release should have these figures.
Yes, according to their press release, the consolidated EBITDA for Q4 FY25 was 460 crore rupees. Year over year, this is a strong growth of 37.7% compared to the 334 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. For a quarter-over-quarter EBITDA comparison, we'll need to look at PBT from the financials, as Q3 EBITDA isn't readily available here.
Alright, let's then move to profit before tax or PBT from the audited financials for Q4 FY25 consolidated.
Consolidated PBT for Q4 FY25 was 542 crore rupees. Year over year, that's a significant jump of 73.72% from 312 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, compared to Q3 FY25's PBT of 480 crore rupees, it's up by a healthy 12.92%.
That's a strong PBT performance. And this translates to profit after tax or PAT. How?
Consolidated PAT for Q4 FY25 came in at 421 crore rupees. Year over year, this is a substantial increase of 74.69% from 241 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter against Q3 FY25's PAT of 335 crore rupees, it's up by 25.67%.
Excellent. And the earnings per share or EPS?
The basic EPS for Q4 FY25 on a consolidated basis was 5.93 rupees. Year over year, that's up 74.41% from 3.40 rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's up 25.64% from 4.72 rupees in Q3 FY25.
Any significant movement in other income for the quarter?
Yes, other income for Q4 FY25 consolidated was 175 crore rupees. Year over year, that's up 57.66% from 111 crore rupees. And quarter over quarter, it's sharply up by 143.05% from 72 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. That's quite a jump sequentially.
Indeed. Now let's look at the full year consolidated performance for FY25. How did revenue from operations fare for the full year?
For the full FY25, consolidated revenue from operations was 27,276 crore rupees. This is up 4.83% from 26,018 crore rupees in FY24.
And the full year consolidated EBITDA?
The press release states consolidated EBITDA for FY25 was 2,243 crore rupees, which is a growth of 12.1% year over year from about 2,001 crore rupees in FY24.
What about the full year PBT and PAT on a consolidated basis?
Consolidated PBT for FY25 was 2,135 crore rupees, up 14.97% from 1,857 crore rupees in FY24. Consolidated PAT for FY25 stood at 1,582 crore rupees, which is an increase of 12.36% from 1,408 crore rupees in FY24.
And the full year consolidated EPS?
The basic EPS for FY25 consolidated was 22.28 rupees, up 12.35% from 19.83 rupees in FY24. Other income for the full year was also up significantly at 336 crore rupees compared to 225 crore rupees in FY24, a rise of 49.33%.
Okay, that covers the consolidated picture. Now, let's switch to the standalone financials, starting with Q4 FY25 revenue from operations.
Standalone revenue from operations for Q4 FY25 was 6,549 crore rupees. Year over year, this is up 2.42% from 6,394 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, compared to Q3 FY25 7,731 crore rupees, it's down by 15.29%.
And standalone EBITDA for Q4?
The press release indicates standalone EBITDA for Q4 FY25 was 505 crore rupees. This is a strong year-over-year growth of 39.5% from 362 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Again, for quarter-over-quarter EBITDA, we'll refer to PBT trends.
Right. So standalone PBT before exceptional items for Q4 FY25?
Standalone PBT before exceptional items for Q4 FY25 was 585 crore rupees. Year over year, this is up 19.14% from 491 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, compared to Q3 FY25 686 crore rupees, it's down by 14.72%.
And standalone PAT for the quarter?
Standalone PAT for Q4 FY25 was 451 crore rupees. Year over year, this is up 17.45% from 384 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's down slightly by 4.65% from 473 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
Standalone EPS for Q4?
Standalone basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 6.20 rupees. Year over year, that's up 17.42% from 5.28 rupees. Quarter over quarter, it's down 4.62% from 6.50 rupees.
And standalone other income for Q4?
Standalone other income for Q4 FY25 was 170 crore rupees. Year over year, this is down 25.76% from 229 crore rupees. Quarter over quarter, it's down 10.53% from 190 crore rupees.
Now for the full year standalone performance for FY25. Revenue.
Standalone revenue from operations for FY25 was 26,780 crore rupees, up 5.48% from 25,389 crore rupees in FY24.
And full year standalone EBITDA?
Standalone EBITDA for FY25 was 2,058 crore rupees, a growth of 20.5% year over year from 1,708 crore rupees in FY24.
Full year standalone PBT before exceptional items and PAT?
Standalone PBT before exceptional items for FY25 was 2,121 crore rupees, up 24.54% from 1,703 crore rupees in FY24. Standalone PAT for FY25 was 1,558 crore rupees, up 18.75% from 1,312 crore rupees in FY24.
And full year standalone EPS?
Standalone basic EPS for FY25 was 21.42 rupees, up 18.74% from 18.04 rupees in FY24. Standalone other income for the full year was 426 crore rupees, up 27.16%.
That's a lot of numbers. Let's talk about profitability insights. What are the EBITDA margins looking like? The press release mentions these are based on net sales value or NSV, which excludes excise duty.
Right. For consolidated results, the Q4 FY25 EBITDA margin on NSV was 15.18%, and for the full FY25, it was 18.58%. On the standalone side, the Q4 FY25 EBITDA margin on NSV was 17.14%, and for the full FY25, it was 17.78%. The CEO's commentary highlighted that this leveraged EBITDA growth takes them to their medium-term guidance.
And net profit margins based on revenue from operations?
For consolidated Q4 FY25, the net profit margin was about 6.35%. For standalone Q4 FY25, it was around 6.89%. So fairly close.
Were there any significant exceptional items reported in FY25?
Yes, for both standalone and consolidated results in FY25, there was an exceptional charge of 65 crore rupees. This relates to severance costs for a closed unit as part of their multi-year supply agility program. In Q4 itself, there were no exceptional items.
Let's touch upon the balance sheet. Any key changes on the consolidated front as of March 31, 2025 compared to the previous year?
On the consolidated balance sheet, total equity increased to 8,104 crore rupees from 7,121 crore rupees. Non-current liabilities rose to 422 crore rupees from 225 crore rupees, mainly due to higher lease liabilities. Total assets grew to 13,248 crore rupees from 11,249 crore rupees. Cash and cash equivalents also improved to 1,328 crore rupees from 1,052 crore rupees.
What about cash flow for the full year FY25 consolidated?
Net cash generated from operating activities was strong at 1,947 crore rupees, up significantly from 1,118 crore rupees in FY24. Net cash outflow from investing activities was 1,114 crore rupees, a shift from an inflow in the previous year, mainly due to higher purchases of current investments. Net cash outflow from financing activities was 557 crore rupees, primarily due to dividend payments.
Speaking of dividends, any announcements?
Yes, the board has recommended a final dividend of 8 rupees per equity share for FY25, subject to shareholder approval.
Now, let's delve into segment performance. The consolidated results show two main segments, beverage alcohol and sports. How did they do in Q4 and FY25?
For Q4 FY25, the beverage alcohol segment reported net segment revenue of 2,946 crore rupees, up year-over-year from 2,666 crore rupees, but down quarter-over-quarter from 3,432 crore rupees. Its EBITDA for the quarter was 505 crore rupees, a healthy jump from 358 crore rupees year-over-year. The sports segment, which is essentially RCB, had net segment revenue of 89 crore rupees in Q4 FY25. This was down from 120 crore rupees in Q4 FY24 and up from just 1 crore rupee in Q3 FY25, which is typical seasonality for IPL. The press release noted fewer IPL matches in the January to March quarter this year affected this. The sports segment reported an EBITDA loss of 45 crore rupees for Q4 FY25.
And for the full year FY25?
For FY25, beverage alcohol revenue was 11,573 crore rupees with an EBITDA of 2,057 crore rupees, both showing good year-over-year growth. The sports segment revenue for FY25 was 504 crore rupees with an EBITDA of 186 crore rupees. Both revenue and EBITDA for sports were down year-over-year.
The press release also breaks down the standalone beverage alcohol business into prestige and above, or P&A, and popular segments. What's the story there?
The P&A segment is clearly the growth engine. In Q4 FY25, its net sales value grew 13.2% year-over-year to 2,616 crore rupees, and for the full FY25, it grew 9.9% to 10,271 crore rupees. The popular segment saw a modest NSV growth of 1.1% in Q4 and 0.8% for the full year. P&A accounted for nearly 88% of net underlying sales in Q4.
So to summarize the performance analysis, what are the key drivers and contexts?
The company saw revenue and profit growth for FY25, both on consolidated and standalone basis. The P&A segment in beverages is performing very well. The re-entry into the Andhra Pradesh market also provided a boost. The CEO mentioned delivering on their medium-term guidance for EBITDA growth. The quarterly performance, especially revenue, showed some sequential moderation in Q4, but profitability remained strong year-over-year. The sports segment's Q4 performance was impacted by IPL scheduling.
Are there any significant notes or events from the financial results that investors should be aware of?
Yes, quite a few. Note 4A details historical matters, including the additional inquiry into past improper transactions, ongoing interactions with regulatory bodies like the ED and RBI, and the company's asset rationalization process. These carry inherent uncertainties. Note 4C discusses the long outstanding loan to United Breweries Holdings Limited, or UBHL, amounting to 1,337 crore rupees principal plus interest, which is fully provided for. Litigation around this is ongoing. Note 4D mentions a dispute with IDBI Bank, where the company considers 46 crore rupees recoverable, also pending litigation. Note 5, as we discussed, is the 65 crore rupees exceptional charge for severance costs. And Note 6 highlights a claim from an institutional customer amounting to 365 crore rupees, currently under arbitration, but management is confident of a favorable outcome.
Those are indeed significant. Now, critically, what does the auditor's report say? This is from Pricewaterhouse and Company Chartered Accountants LLP for both standalone and consolidated results.
The auditors have issued an unmodified opinion for both the standalone and consolidated financial results, meaning they believe the financials present a true and fair view.
That's good news. Any emphasis of matter paragraphs?
Yes, and these are important. For both consolidated and standalone reports, there are two emphasis of matter paragraphs. The first one draws attention to Note 4A, those historical matters regarding past improper transactions and related ongoing regulatory interactions. The auditors highlight that the ultimate outcome of these matters and their financial impact, if any, cannot presently be determined. The second emphasis of matter refers to Note 4D, the dispute with IDBI Bank concerning the 46 crore rupees shown as recoverable. The auditors point out that the recoverability is dependent on the outcome of the pending litigation. It's crucial to understand that an emphasis of matter does not modify the audit opinion, but is used to draw users' attention to a matter that is fundamental to their understanding of the financial statements.
Any other matters in the auditor's report?
Yes, for the consolidated report, other matters include reliance on the audit work of other auditors for one trust, the USL Benefit Trust, and for 8 overseas subsidiaries. It also states that financial information for joint ventures was unaudited but not material to the group. And for both reports, it's mentioned that the Q4 figures are balancing figures derived from full-year audited numbers and published 9-month figures.
So no qualifications or adverse opinions, but the emphasis of matter paragraphs certainly highlight areas of significant uncertainty for investors.
Precisely. The core operations seem to be doing well, but these legacy issues and ongoing litigations, as pointed out by the auditors, remain overhangs.
Given all this, what's the general outlook and what are the potential risks? And of course, our standard disclaimer.
The outlook for United Spirits seems positive from an operational standpoint, especially with the strong performance of its P&A segment and strategic initiatives like the Andhra Pradesh re-entry. The dividend recommendation also signals confidence. However, the risks are clearly pointed out in the notes and the emphasis of matter paragraphs in the auditor's report. The unresolved historical issues, ongoing litigations, and the claim from the institutional customer. Any adverse outcomes there could have a financial impact. The performance of the sports segment is also subject to IPL dynamics. And of course, the standard disclaimer: this discussion is for informational purposes only and should not be considered investment advice. Listeners should consult with a certified financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Excellent. So to conclude, what are the main takeaways from United Spirits FY25 results?
United Spirits has delivered a solid FY25 with growth in revenue and profitability driven by its premium beverage portfolio. The standalone business mirrors this strength. EBITDA margins are healthy. However, the significant uncertainties highlighted by the auditors in their emphasis of matter paragraphs, particularly concerning historical issues and ongoing litigations, are crucial factors that investors need to monitor closely. The recommended dividend is a positive sign.
A very comprehensive analysis. It's clear that while the operational performance is encouraging, investors need to keep those contingent liabilities and uncertainties on their radar.
Absolutely. A balanced view is key here.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in.